Good evening and thank you for joining us. Today is the last day of the Labor Day Golden Week holidays. As of 4 p.m. today, more than 60,000 mainland visitors arrived in Hong Kong. Plus the visitor numbers over the first 4 days of the Golden Week, Hong Kong has so far received more than 735,000 mainland tourists. Some shopping malls are expecting a 10% increase in income, but the bar industry lamented the Golden Week's minimal help to the nighttime economy. As the Labor Day Golden Week holidays are coming to a close, mainland visitors hit the stores in Tsim Sha Tsui for their final shopping rush. This tourist from Shenzhen says she plans to spend up to $30,000 in clothes, bags, and makeup products. Some shopping malls said thanks to the Golden Week holidays, their revenue recorded a double-digit increase compared with the same period last year. The general manager of Sino Group, which manages Olympian City, Sino Plaza, and Tsim Sha Tsui Center, said their malls logged a 10% increase in visitor spending, with notable rises in eateries and the sales of sports items. She noted more people prefer to stay in malls because of the unsettled weather. The bar and catering industry, however, is not faring as well. Chin Chung-wing, chairman of the Hong Kong Bar and Club Association, said even with campaigns such as lotteries, business is similar to that on regular days, as many mainland holiday makers are day trippers. Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism Kevin Yeung said, despite the weather, he believes the city will receive 800,000 mainland visitors throughout the 5-day holidays, which is close to the original estimate, bringing more than $2 billion of consumption spending to Hong Kong. Yeung said that with a change in tourism trend and tourist preference for more in-depth travel experience in the city, authorities will roll out new attractions such as visits to the old Yamate police station. Speaking on a TVB program, Secretary for Labor and Welfare Chris Sun said they are not planning to change the eligible age and coverage of the $2 transport subsidy scheme for people aged 60 or above and disabled.
There will be no change to the eligibility criteria, i.e. those who are already enjoying the $2 concession fare. It's only that we have to look at some of the parameters, see if there is any possibility for us to achieve some savings. The purpose is to make sure that we have a financially, physically sustainable future, because if you look at the spending is on the rise.
The government plans to complete a review of the subsidy scheme by the end of the year. This as the government paid $4 billion to transport operators for the scheme in the last fiscal year. That's more than $10 million a day. In the current fiscal year, the budget for the scheme has gone up by 50% to $6 billion. To keep the expenses under control, some have proposed to limit the subsidy for beneficiaries to a certain amount each month, or to require them to pay more than $2 per trip. The welfare chief said the government will take in different views, but is not planning to do so, as beneficiaries have got used to the travel convenience. Soon after, the administration had stepped up promotion to encourage beneficiaries to make good use of the section fare system when taking buses to avoid excessive payout of subsidies. Following heavy downpours, floods and landslides in Sai Kung and Tseung Kwan O, Secretary for Transport and Logistics Lam Sai-hung today inspected the affected neighborhoods. He expects traffic to resume along affected road sections in Hang Hau before Monday's morning rush hour. The collapsed bund towers in Cheung Chau yesterday are also expected to be rebuilt within 2 days. Secretary for Transport and Logistics Lam Sai-hung visited the site of landslides on Clearwater Bay Road near Wing Lung Road in the late afternoon, with Highways Department officers updating him on the latest situation. Climbing up to inspect restoration efforts in person, Lam said the hole left by the collapsed slope was 30 by 40 meters. It was among the 15 landslides reported on Saturday. He said contractors and the responsible government department will work overnight to ensure the 2-lane road is ready before rush hour on Monday morning. In Cheung Chau, 3 bund towers collapsed during Saturday's rainstorm. Workers tried to clean up in the aftermath and rebuild the structure.
派咗10幾20人嚟。
Chairman of the Hong Kong Cheung Chau Bun Festival Committee, Yong Chi-ming, said they sent 10 to 20 extra workers to help out, and it would likely take around 1 to 2 days to restore the bun towers. He added that the towers had never been blown off by such strong winds in the past 100 years. But the iconic 14-meter-tall bamboo tower used for the bun snatching competition during the Jiao Festival of Cheung Chau, slated for May 14th, still stands strong. Ahead of the main festival, the Leisure and Cultural Services Department held the Bun Carnival this afternoon for the public to try their hand at scaling the bun towers. The student said he watched a bun scrambling race and really wanted to try it out, and he climbed up the tower 4 to 5 times today. Despite being a Sunday and the last day of Golden Week, there was a lull in crowds in Cheung Chau. This bakery shop manager said more people travel to the mainland for their vacation, and tourists don't buy as many Cheung Chau buns these days. Plus, the Buddha birthday is only a one-day holiday, so their revenues are 10 to 20% less than before. A Hamas delegation was in Cairo on Saturday as Egyptian state media reported noticeable progress in ceasefire talks for Gaza. Israeli officials, though, are absent from the talks and have downplayed prospects of a full end to the war. Instead, Israel says it is determined to launch an offensive on Rafah, the southernmost area in Gaza. Israel says the U.S. has been briefed on its plan to evacuate Rafah, though it has not changed Washington's opposition to the potential attack. Nasri Karim again.
In a weekly ritual that has gone on for months, thousands of Israelis take to the streets of Tel Aviv, demanding their government finalize a deal with Palestinian group Hamas to release more than 100 hostages. Like on many occasions over the past few months, hopes are raised as ceasefire talks in Cairo continue. A Hamas delegation is there, with US mediators saying noticeable progress has been made. Yet obstacles remain, with Hamas wanting an end to fighting and an Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. Israel want only a 40-day ceasefire, while hardliners in Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government demand an invasion of the southern Gaza district of Rafah, where close to 1.5 million Palestinians are sheltering.
A ceasefire is adamant that the most important thing is to bring the hostages back and to get humanitarian aid into Gaza, and that's the most important thing, and the ceasefire will serve that. And basically, the Israeli people are hostages to the right-wing government, and the people of Gaza are hostages to the Hamas, and basically there has to be a way to overcome that and to stop the fighting and the killing, at least for now, and to get everybody home.
Meanwhile, the death toll in Gaza continues to rise. 3 people were killed in an airstrike in Rafah, while another 3 died after an attack on the Nusayrat refugee camp in central Gaza. In the occupied West Bank, Israeli officials say its forces killed 5 Palestinian fighters near Tulkarem. As fighting continues, the United Nations says a full-blown famine has taken effect in the north of Gaza, even as more crossings are open for humanitarian aid. In Gaza City, people queue up at a bakery to buy bread. This man must feed a family of 12, including a daughter suffering from cancer. He says he is surprised bread is available, but it's a struggle for people like him with no income and who must rely on coupons. In central Gaza's Deir el-Balah area, World Central Kitchen staff provide meals for the displaced. This man has a family of 16 to feed as few trucks arrive in Gaza, saying they haven't eaten vegetables in more than 6 weeks. Nasri Karim, TVB News.
A 16-year-old boy armed with a knife was shot dead by Australian police after he stabbed a man in Perth. The attack was carried out in the car park of a hardware store. The youth made an anonymous call to law enforcement saying he was about to commit violence but did not give a location. Police also received information from the Western Australia Muslim community. They were concerned about the teenager's behavior. A man in his 30s was found at the scene with a stab wound and is in a serious but stable condition. Police rushed to the scene and opened fire, killing the teenager. Australian agents have been conducting a counter-terrorism investigation in Sydney after another 16-year-old stabbed an Orthodox bishop in a church on April 15th.
There are indications he had been radicalised online, but I want to reassure the community. At this stage, it appears that he acted solely and alone.
I have watched the body worn. He rushed one of the officers who was holding a taser, and the taser was deployed. A second taser was also deployed. Both of them didn't have the full desired effect, and the male continued to advance on the third officer with the firearm, who fired a single shot.
A non-profit organization found that many ethnic minority youngsters in Hong Kong have a hard time securing internships, which in turn helps students pursue a suitable career down the road. The group has launched a program aiming to open doors for non-Chinese teens in Hong Kong with work placement opportunities. Employers who took part also said it opened their mind. Take a listen. 19-year-old Atika, a freshman at the University of Hong Kong, and 18-year-old Zane, who just sat this year's Diploma of Secondary Education exam, are among the 20 participants of Kelly Support Group's Open Door Work Placement program, having interned at 10 small and medium-sized companies in Hong Kong.
After my DSE, I was really uncertain about which career path I should choose. And after I joined this program, where I was working in an office environment, I have observed how my colleagues work, and this inspired me, and I settled on BBA.
Having grown up in Hong Kong and straddled cultures with their Pakistani community, they said they acquired valuable insights into the work culture of the city.
Throughout the month, they really did help me with my Cantonese. And most importantly, I learned more about the IT industry, and I learned more about digital marketing, which I had no knowledge of before I joined this.
Kelly Support Group also surveyed 500 young people aged between 16 and 25. They found more than 80% of ethnic minority youths in Hong Kong faced roadblocks in securing internship opportunities.
Even the school doesn't have enough resources for them to talk about future career. We really hope that this program could bring a message to Hong Kong public as well as the employer in Hong Kong to be able to see that there is a big group of talented young individuals in Hong Kong, especially those from the ethnic minority background.
Among such employers is Jack Law, the director of a participating company.
Usually we ignore their applications because we're afraid we cannot communicate with them very well, afraid they cannot cooperate with our team. However, through this program, we can see their talent. This is a good chance for all of us to learn.
Kelly Support Group also aims to continue the work placement program this summer and hopes to further expand the companies involved to cover legal and banking sectors, while including mental well-being programs in their pre-employment schemes for participating ethnic minority youths. And the government today launched a community care inclusive dance scheme in Tsim Sha Tsui. The scheme for students with special needs will run until July next year. Min Mo-Seng-Ai reports.
Under the name Dance for All, the Community Care Inclusive Dance Scheme, organized by the Leisure and Cultural Services Department, was launched at the Hong Kong Cultural Centre this afternoon. Vincent Lau, director of the department, attended the opening ceremony. The ceremony featured a wheelchair dance led by the scheme's artistic advisor, Andy Wong. The audience, meanwhile, also took part in the event. The project will provide year-long training for 40 students at 2 special schools. A final performance will be put up for the public in July next year to showcase the results of the students' learning. A series of activities will be held at the Cultural Centre over the 15-month scheme, such as an inclusive family puppet show and a drama education program.
The scheme will also include overseas performance. For instance, a Swedish group that specializes in dance for neurodiverse children will visit the city in July. Min Mo-Seng-Ai, TVB News.
And that's the news. Thank you for watching.